Nick Sirianni, he is, as always, every Tuesday brought to us by Bud Light. The Bud Light Eagles away game party is this Sunday at Union Jacks in Glenside. Love Glenside, near where I grew up in Huntington Valley. Hey, hang with Ava Graham and score tickets to an Eagles game and signed Eagles items. The 3-0 head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Nick, congratulations on, that win. Let's listen to it. You obviously didn't get to hear Merrill's call in the moment, but we all have heard it many times. Let's listen again to the way the game ended.
The ball is spotted. The kick is away. It's blocked! It's blocked! It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with it is Davis. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Game over! Jordan Davis!
Are you kidding me?
Blocked him again!
Are you kidding me?
Blocked him again! Have you ever seen anything like this?
No! I haven't, actually. Nick, it's been 2 days. What's your reaction when you hear that?
That's cool. That's a cool. Merrill's really good. Mike Quick's really good at what they do. I know they bring a lot of people joy in those games, announcing it. So that was cool to hear. Thanks for playing that for us. Obviously, an unbelievable moment. We want to do a lot of things better, so we don't put ourselves in that scenario where you need to block that. But it was a incredible play. The play that they blocked at the time before was an incredible play, and it's just our players going out and making plays. Before the first field goal that we blocked, I clicked over to special teams, making sure the count was right, we had the right people on the field, all this and that, and I just said, "Hey, can we get this one?" And Coach Clay goes, "Yeah." Yeah, yes, we can, and bam, we block it. And I am the least superstitious person in the world. I don't believe in it. I don't think about it because there's a lot of reasons why I don't think that way. But on the last one, I remember clicking over again. I'm like, count good, yeah, we're ready. I'm gonna ice this guy here. Okay, we ice the kicker. And I'm like, gosh, I think I got to say it again. So I go, "Hey, can we get this one?" Like, yeah. So, I played into what I don't usually like to play into is the superstition.
You're developing a habit.
If you hadn't have done that, he wouldn't have blocked the kick.
Let me tell you something, Nick. Analytics don't support superstition, but human instinct does.
That's how silly it is, guys. Like me asking if we had a chance to block it had nothing to do with us blocking it, and I'm very aware of that.
That's great.
That's amazing.
That is great.
So when the special teams phase, that speaks for itself. The offensive phase, it was sort of the tale of two halves. In the second half, the hurry-up offense, why did that work so well against the Rams? And how much input does Jalen have on the plays and the routes called in that hurry-up situation?
Yeah, obviously we talk about everything on the sideline. Hey, Kevin's talking to Jalen. Hey, we're gonna go on the ball, if it presents itself. And hey, I'm thinking this, and this. Jalen is sitting there listening and saying, yeah, like that. Maybe I don't like this. And that's stuff that goes, that happens in a game.
What do you like? What do you like?
But yeah, what do you like? But that happens all week too.
Right.
That's something that you're preparing for all week, and so really good. We've operated well out of hurry up. I think the question would be like, well, why not earlier? Well, there's situations in the game that can dictate that. Sometimes it's hard to go hurry up when you're not successful on first down. Or if you have a negative play or it's an incomplete pass or whatever it may be, you got to get it going a little bit. And that pass to AJ on that, to kind of get us going on just on that little out route there to start things off was huge. And then it got the momentum going and we were able to get on the ball and go. But no huddle is always a portion of our offense, always something that we think about, and no huddle can look a lot of different ways. And so I just thought, it was a really good job by our players executing in that. And, you would say, I don't want to say it's chaos, but it's like, controlled chaos, which is football, right? The controlled chaos of it, getting on the line, calling the play, getting the call from the sideline, Jalen communicating that call from to everybody else. And we did a really good job. I thought the coaches did an excellent job adjusting. to it, and getting to that to give us a spark. And obviously, the thing that game could have got well out of hand, right? With the way that we coached and that we played in the first half, but the defense, just kept getting stops. One of those turns into 7. One of those field goals turns into 7, and that's going to be tough. It came down to the wire. Obviously, that'd be tough to come back and dig yourself out of that hole. The play I really thought about was that Jalen Carter gets through the line of scrimmage, gets held on 3rd and 2. They score a touchdown. Ball goes back to the 10. We play good red zone defense there, and it ends up in a field goal. So we had 4 of those down there, which was really critical to keep the game close, to allow us to be able to do that until we got going on offense.
I can't believe I'm even asking this because I am such a huge fan of the run game, but had our offense become too run-focused prior to the second half of that Rams game?
I think what it was is, and we haven't been great on first down, and that doesn't necessarily mean that, either run or pass. We got to coach better, we got to play better, but we've been behind the sticks a little bit on those things. So we haven't been efficient, I guess to say, and particularly in that game, we haven't been efficient on first down, which puts us behind a little bit. And that could be inefficient with a pass, it could be inefficient with a run. We're always going to do what we think is best to help us win the football game. In this game, it was to throw it a bunch. Next game it could be to throw it a bunch too. It could be, let's see how that plays out. It could be that we run it a bunch. How I always say we'll do whatever we need to do to win the game, but we need to be efficient on first down. And if that's a run, if that's a pass, if that's a play action pass, if that's a screen, we got to get better there so we're not putting ourselves, behind. Because I think when we're looking at it, when we're behind the sticks there, that's when our punts are coming, when we're not being efficient there, particularly on first down.
Nick, I'm curious if it's tough to manage when you have players and star players at times that want to do something a certain way and you may want to go a different way. I want to play some audio for you of Jalen Hurts. This was right after the game. Listen to what Jalen said on Fox to Pam Oliver.
It's like you guys said later for this. Whatever happened in that first half, forget about it. Let's go and show who we are.
We play so many styles of football. Where in that first half, we got to get out of this playing not to lose. We got to come out aggressive and play our game. You saw our game in the second half.
So the question John was just talking about, and we've been talking about it today, is the team too conservative on offense, but you guys always win. And then there's the internal discussions you have to have, obviously, with the guys on what is the best way to do it. And I'm sure there's disagreements at times. How do you manage that when players want to do one thing and you want to do something else?
See, I think what you guys are, I heard the first part of that too. There was another question that Pam asked, and Jalen, I think if you just cut out one area of it, you can make it look how you want it to look. But there's the first part of it, he was talking, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I listened to both him and AJ. I think that we don't live in a blame world in here. We try. There's so many things that happen outside of a football building. You guys would know this. There's so many things that happen outside of a football building that is not in our DNA in a football building when you're on a team. And Jalen right there, and I know what you guys have to ask them and all that, but I know that they aren't living in a blame game, and it's because he's saying we all are responsible, coaches, players, to get the thing rolling. And so I didn't take either of those comments in that manner. We talked all week about attacking, and kind of coming off that Kansas City game that we needed to dictate things to them, to the defense, and not let the defense dictate stuff to us as an offense. And that was Kevin's message. That was my message. That was Jalen's message. That was our entire offense's message, is let's be on the attack. Being on the attack can look many different ways, right? It can look like the two zone reads that you saw Jalen pull around the corner, one for 17 yards, one for 10 yards. It could be, throwing the football, which I think everybody, because we haven't thrown the football a lot the first 2 weeks, or for a lot of yards, or whatever you want to say it. I think a lot of people on the outside of this building can look at that as, critical. I know with my conversations with them, that they know we're all in this together, and we're trying to figure it out together. We're doing everything we can do to win every single game and find ways to get better from that. And that's just not, when I say, get better, that's just not players. Like, I'm never up there saying, hey, this is what, one of the first things I like to do when I go up there is say the things I mess up during a game, and to the players, because we're all in this thing together and trying to get it rolling together. So we don't live by the same rules as outside the building. We're a team, and I love this team. And I think what you saw from this team, I thought we played with incredible mental toughness in this game. We were on you're on the ground. You're in a boxing match. You get knocked down. They just kept getting up. They just kept getting up and kept fighting, and good things happened. I thought we played incredible together football, the way that we celebrated together, the way that we, sometimes when you're going through the mental, the adversities that you go through, that's the things that brings teams together. That win helped us come together. Sure. You can see that, how they celebrate together. So now there's definitely some detailed things we got to clean up, but I saw an incredible team effort and of getting that going. And so that's why I know, and they felt it. We talked about it after the game, individually as a team. So that's why I know those comments are not as perceived. And I get it. You can make it look how
sure.
you want
Nick,
to look, let me not perceived.
Yeah, if I could just say, Nick, I wasn't trying to indicate that they were complaining or criticizing.
Yeah,
I admire the way they went about it. I think they were just pointing out there may be a different way to do it, and they were just broaching that. Yeah,
Coach, I thought how AJ, because obviously AJ got asked that question a lot this week. I thought he handled that with such maturity, such grace, because he is a superstar. Jalen is a superstar, and they want to do things that affect the game. But they also know things that they do without the ball in their hands affects the game. And I know that we have such a highly competitive team that just desires to win and play for each other. That's why I love this team.
Coach, you mentioned the team does a great job not assigning blame. How do you handle assigning the blame when there's another taunting penalty from Jalen Carter? What else needs to be said in that situation?
Yeah, we had three of those. So not just Jalen, but obviously he's had another one before that. But we had three of those, and that's the same thing, the same way we talk about it. Obviously, I'll keep all those conversations in house, but nothing's off limits after a game. You probably, if you guys would have came in here yesterday on Monday, you would have thought, did they win this game based off of how the tape was going? But that's when you can get so much across, is when you win the game, but you didn't play to your standards, and I'd say detail-wise. And detail, what I mean is, the fundamentals, being on the same page, and then also, the pre or post-whistle penalties. Those are discussed as a team in front of everybody. And sometimes they're discussed with individuals. In this case, it was both. And we have to be able to play with the incredible emotion that, go back to the Kansas City game last week and the emotion on the sideline after Andrew Makuba's interception. Go to this game and there's a 3rd and 10 that AJ catches the ball and Saquon's sprinting down to get a block, and he fist pumps and was going crazy after the conversion. I got goosebumps thinking about it. And then the celebration in the end zone after the walk-off field goal block. You want to play with showing great energy as a football team is important, because it shows how much the team is together, in my opinion. But we have to be able to reel that in, understand that the league is rightfully so, is trying to pull back on any of the taunting, any of the trash talk that's happening in there. We have to play within the rules of the game. And so there's this fine line of playing with extreme emotion, while also, playing under the rules of the game with how they're dictating the game this year. Because they're refereeing that they're tighter. They just are, and we know that. And that's why the detail on us on that portion of it has to be better. We talked about it as a team yesterday. Obviously, won't get into the talking points, but yeah.
Hey, Nick, good luck versus Tampa. I know it's going to be hot. It's a tough one. Tampa's a good team. Pickle juice, if you don't know about it. Andy pulled it out in 2000. Eagles got a big win in Dallas 25 years ago with pickle juice aiding on a hot day.
I remember that.
Whatever it takes.
Well,
and Nick, I'm sorry.
Always a pleasure. Always pleasure coming on, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it, Nick. Stay well.
Thanks,
Good luck on
Coach.
Sunday. All right, there he is, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni.